this is Russ. Hey, I'm back in the car again. What time is it? 9:33. I've already left Costco. 83 degrees outside, overcast. Looks like it wants to rain. It might. I kind of hope it does, really. we could use the extra rain. Yeah, it's going to be hot. I mean, like 90 something. Yesterday, I noted it hit around 94, 95. So, why am I turning on the camera now? Well, I actually recorded a video on my way going to Costco and on my way out of Costco, and I didn't like either one of them. Yeah, so I'm going to trash it. I do that sometimes, where I start talking about something and it sounds like it would be good, but then as I think more about it, I go, yeah, that's not a good topic. I'm not gonna release it. So there are times that I have recorded things and just not released it to you. Yeah. You know, the interesting thing is my friend Stacy, I've mentioned him many times. He says, I'm really surprised that people actually sit and listen to you. Hey, he's sitting and listening to me on the phone. Yeah, he says, I'm really surprised that people actually spend their day and spend their time and listen to you. I go, well, hey, you know, it is kind of a vlog, right? Vlog, V-L-O-G, video log. And, you know, what is a vlog really? It's basically your daily log, your daily things that are happening to you on the day. You know, you're sharing that with the public. Let them know what you're up to. He says, but I'm just surprised people will just sit there and listen. I go, yeah, well, you know, they can listen, they can watch, they can do whatever they want. It's basically like a podcast if you think about it. I says, I'm just sitting in the car driving and talking. He goes, wow, why would people do that? I go, why do you listen to me? Why do you talk to me on the phone? It's the same thing. There's really no difference. I guess the only real difference is that when I'm talking in the car, there's nobody physically here to hear me talk. But I know that there's going to be somebody a little later hearing me talk. So there. But there's no interaction, right? Well, we do have interaction. We have comments. People make comments on the videos. Let me encourage you guys. Read some of the comments. Yeah, and interact in the comments. But even if you don't like putting comments yourself, still read the comments. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There really is. I mean, because people will you know, give me their opinion of what I've said, or maybe it's something happened to them that they want to tell me or tell you about. Yeah, read the comments. Half the fun of, I think, these videos that I do here on More from Russ are the comments. They really are. You might see me make a video and say, well, I looked at your comments today and here's my responses to the comments. I do that because I know not everybody reads the comments, and sometimes, you know, I want you to know about what they said, so I'll comment about your comments. But yeah, read the comments, because there's some good stuff in there. And we have people who are regulars, I would call them, who comment regularly on the More From Russ channel and also on the Russ is Right channel. So I look forward to seeing what they have to say for the day. It's their version of part of my vlog. It's their vlog. It's their comment log. Clog. It's your clog. Put a clog of the comments as a clog. We got vlogs, we got clogs, so you guys can make clogs, okay? Oh, well, somebody mentioned, says, oh, I like your sense of humor. Hey, you gotta have a sense of humor. If you don't have a sense of humor, life is kind of boring, in my opinion, at least. Okay, let me tell you about something that happened today. Now, I was over at Costco. I was gonna try to drop off this bell to Tom. Remember I mentioned about the bell? Yeah, I have a bell for him. It came in from AliExpress, right? I've tried to drop it off to him 3 times now, and he's not around. I don't know where he's gone. Maybe he went on vacation. I have no idea. Yeah, but I've driven to the gas station to get gas. He wasn't there. Today I drove there and he wasn't there. I went back later after having my pizza and drive there in case I missed him. He wasn't there. So he's either on vacation or he's changed his schedule. Let me know, Tom. Where are you? So anyway, your bell is here. I'm going to give it to you whenever I see you. And by the way, Tom, there was a guy at Costco yesterday when I was there. I yelled out, "Hey, Tom!" No response. The guy kept going. He went straight towards the washroom because Tom sometimes does that, goes straight to the washroom. And then, I mean, he's outside the whole day. He's got to go sometime, right? So then he left and came back out. And I yelled out, "Hey, Tom!" No response. No, this guy looks just like Tom. I'm not kidding. He looks just like Tom, but with glasses on. So I don't know if Tom wears glasses. I think he does sometimes. I'm not sure. But with no response, I'm going, he's not responding. Then I'm looking at him and go, I don't think that's Tom. There's a guy who looks just like Tom who went to Costco yesterday. Yeah, I mean, after he was done with the washroom, he went back out, he grabbed the cart, went back in. The guy walks really fast, too. So your doppelganger, Tom, is out there going to Costco. Let me know if you see him one day and tell me if that guy doesn't look like you, because he really does. He really looks like Tom. I could have sworn it was him. Well, I thought it was him. That's why I yelled out Tom. It wasn't Tom. All right, so here's a story I wanted to tell you. Okay. Now, Diet Coke, right? Okay, Diet Coke. Let's talk about Diet Coke. Why are we talking about Diet Coke? Okay, it's important. I went to fill up the Diet Coke in my cup. Okay, because this time I just bought a slice of cheese pizza, as I usually do, and a Diet Coke. So as I'm filling it up in the dispenser, I noticed they have another thing. I mean, there's the regular Coke, okay? There's Diet Coke, and then they have a thing that says Diet. It doesn't say Diet, sorry. It says Coke Zero Sugar. Coke Zero Sugar. So I guess that's Coke Zero, right? I didn't know what the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke is. So I Googled it. And the AI thing came out with a listing of the ingredients inside Diet Coke and the ingredients inside Coke Zero. So apparently there are a few differences in it. Just back up here. I think I'll leave the car on. It won't be that long. There's a few differences between Diet Coke and Coke Zero. One being Coke Zero has aspartame, which I had read is not the greatest thing. Diet Pepsi doesn't have aspartame. They use a different type of sweetener. Apparently aspartame has some potential issues. So I'm not thrilled with that. I say that as I take a sip of Diet Coke. So they add an additional sweetener. They're saying that they're trying to make Coke Zero taste like the original Coke formula, but no sugar. Okay, using aspartame and whatever extra sweetener they do. It also has potassium citrate. Now, I mentioned potassium citrate before as something that my doctor wanted me to take a pill, like 4 pills a day. Remember that? And I said, I'm not doing it because I said, I've taken way too many pills as it is. I don't want to keep taking up 4 times a day. You know, basically what it is to help, try to block any potential kidney stone issue. So anyways, that's in Coke Zero, okay? But it's not in Diet Coke. So there might be a potential benefit having potassium citrate inside the Coke Zero for people who have had kidney stones like me. So after reading the differences between the two, I said, and I filled up the thing with Diet Coke. I usually go back before I leave Costco and refill this with another full cup worth of Diet Coke, right? Or in the past, Diet Pepsi. So I said, you know what? I'm almost done with this. Let me finish this off. I said, I'm gonna try this Coke Zero to see if it's any good. Now, when I Googled it, a Reddit thread came up. So I was reading through the Reddit thread, and somebody is saying, it some people said it tastes like regular Coke, and others were saying it doesn't. And some say they hate the taste of Diet Coke, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has their own opinion, right? So I got to try it. So I filled up the cup with Coke Zero. And as I'm walking away from the dispenser, I take a sip. Oh, man, I hated that stuff. I absolutely hated that stuff. I don't know. It almost had like a floral taste to it. I go, what is this taste? To me, it was awful. It was awful. They said that they tried to market Coke Zero to men and Diet Coke to women. Or some of the men didn't like taking Diet Coke because they felt diet. What's this? It's just a name, right? So, but supposedly Coke Zero is supposed to be closer to regular Coke taste. It doesn't taste like that to me. I know what regular Coke tastes like. This had almost like a floral taste to it. I don't know what the thing is. I had to dump it. I couldn't drink that. I said, no way. I had one sip and that was enough. I went back to the Diet Coke, filled it up with Diet Coke after that. Well, let me say this too. I'm not satisfied with that Diet Coke. I prefer the Diet Pepsi. And some people mentioned too on that Reddit thread that there's, some people prefer the Diet Pepsi. But, well, the history of Diet Coke, let me tell you about that, in case you don't know. Okay, because I've done some research. It used to be called Tab. Remember Tab? Yeah, that was a Coke product. Apparently, when Diet Pepsi came out, because I think Diet Right was the first guys that had it. That was from RC Cola, I think, who is no longer in business. Diet Right was popular, so Diet Pepsi came out. Okay, and then Coke wanted to also do something in the diet type thing, but they didn't want to use their name Coke along with it. They felt that should be, Coke is its own thing. It's Coke, okay? So they called it Tab. Yeah, they made Tab. And then eventually Tab went away and it became Diet Coke. All right. In case you don't know the history of it, but Tab was a Coke product. It was the predecessor to Diet Coke. Now, is the formula different? I don't know. It's been a while. I mean, I remember Tab. I remember the thing. I don't know if I've ever tried Tab. Because back then, it was never a big issue for me. I would always just get regular Coca-Cola at that time. Coke does have a different taste than Pepsi, but I'm going to say between the two products, I prefer Pepsi. Yeah, I do. I do. So, very interesting. But no, Coke has a huge following, of course, and I'm sure Pepsi has a huge following of people too. But I think I just got used to Pepsi and Diet Pepsi as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced that Costco going to Diet Coke. Where does it say Diet Coke? Here, Diet Coke is actually for me because it doesn't taste the same, and then also it doesn't have as much carbonation. As I'm sipping this, it tastes more flat. It doesn't come out of that dispenser right. Either their dispensers are not set right, or in general, it just is more flat than Diet Pepsi. Put a comment. Let me know what you think between that, and let me know if you prefer Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or Pepsi Zero or Coke Zero. I have not tried Pepsi Zero, so I don't know what that is. Do they have one like that? I don't know. Maybe they do. But I tell you, I can't stand the Coke Zero. Well, that thing said Coke Zero sugar, so I'm assuming that's Coke Zero, right? So they basically have both Coke Zero sugar and Diet Coke in that dispenser, plus Coke and whatever other Coke type products there are. Here's the one thing I will say. Wish they had some type of root beer. But now I can't take that either, so maybe a diet root beer. Is there a good diet root beer? I don't know if it exists. I actually like root beer. Yeah, some people can't stand root beer. Some people like Dr. Pepper, right? I'm not a big Dr. Pepper fan, but I can have it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you drink? Well, first off, if you don't even drink any of this stuff, tell me that too, okay? But if you drink soft drinks like this, what do you prefer? And what's your comments about this whole diet whatevers versus regular whatevers? Yeah. Eventually, really, I should just get off of it altogether and just drink water. But the thing is, if all you drink is water, it kind of gets boring after a while. I mean, I did a whole year of trying to, do better. Yeah, let's say something real quickly here too, about all this food stuff I've been doing and everything and gaining the weight. Yeah, I've gained back probably close to 20 pounds out of the 50 that I lost, which is not good. I've got to get serious back to it and drop off some. I may never get down to 50 pounds down again. The only way I could do that is if I did this serious, don't eat anything type of diet. You can't survive like that either. So I know that, I'll probably never get back to the 50-pound loss realistically. But if I can drop at least another 10, bring myself down to a 40-pound loss instead of right now I'm about 30 pounds down, 31 pounds down from last I checked. If I can get back down to like a 40-pound loss from all this stuff, I think I'd be happy with that. I mean, it would be nice to be able to go lower, but I have to be realistic too that I can't just like not eat anything. That was when I was just eating salads and chicken, right? I can't do that. So now if I cut out the daily pizza, that would probably help. I'm sure it would. But the whole point of the pizza thing, it gives me a place to go. And I like pizza, right? I think I'll have to slowly wean off of this stuff. Maybe I can start it off by weaning off of the Diet Coke. I mean, that doesn't add any calories, but at least as a start for something. I mean, the soda stuff is not good for you anyways in the long run. Maybe I can start with that. Just get a bottle of water. I mean, you can get a cup and then fill it up with their dispenser water too. That's an option. If you don't want to pay the 25 cents to get a bottle of Kirkland water. And then eventually filter out the pizza to make it just every now and then. But where would I go? How would I do these vlogs? I look forward to that drive to go to Costco. It gives me some place to go and someone to talk to, on these videos. All right, that's about enough. I think that's it. Put a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Coke Zero fiasco. If you drink Coke Zero, tell me why. Why? Why do you drink that? All right. I'll talk to you guys next time.